there are a myriad of factors as to why you may like a particular anime. It could be its art style, it could be how it's written, it could be by a director that you've liked their stuff in the past, it could be you really like the source material, or it could be that you really like anime originals, and you wish that there was more like fresh stuff in this anime community. But one thing that I've noticed that people have always debated about is the importance of an anime's ending, and how much of that goes into how much you really like the show, or how much of an interest are you really going to have in that show going in. Now, is an ending important? Yes, I suppose, but I don't think it's such a big factor like a lot of people will make you believe. Um, I've watched many, many anime, and most anime fans I think can say the same, that have not had a solid ending. But that does not mean that it was not a good show. It doesn't all of a sudden like just become like a pile of shit just because I didn't like the ending of how the show went. Shout out to Dead Man Wonderland. Anybody that's watched that series knows it's pretty short. It doesn't cover much of the manga, and I'm pretty sure that was like a time thing because the mangaka had gotten pregnant at a time and then didn't do that well in Japan, and there's a lot of factors that went into it. But it was only like 12 or 13 episodes long a few years ago, and it does not really have a solid ending. I'm not going to really spoil it here, but if you're going to go, I guess that's the fair thing to do, I suppose. You can warn people going in that it probably, if they're looking for a solid wrap-up at the end, they're probably not going to get it. However, I would recommend everybody to watch Dead Man Wonderland. I think it's a really good show for what it is. I mean, if you're into like hyper violence and like pretty like adult themes and stuff like that, I would watch Dead Man Wonderland. It's a cool show about people fighting in a prison, and it's pretty good. But the ending of that show, not so much. Still an enjoyable show. I walked out of it. The way I look at it is, it's like kind of like a roller coaster ride. So did I enjoy the ride while I was on it? Yeah. I mean, the ending, it was kind of lame. Maybe we could have done like an extra floop or something on the ride. Floop. This is my hand motion for floop, by the way. But maybe we could have done a little bit more on the ride or whatever. But for what it was enjoyable, and that's how I feel about a lot of anime. And that's why I don't think that when I'm thinking about factors of what makes an anime really, really good, I, to a much lesser extent than I used to in the past, value an ending. When I was younger, I used to think that if it had a bad ending, it would, immediately receive all these points in my, Mal score or whatever like that. Because, and to be honest, it might factor into that score a little bit. But there's a lot of anime out there, like I said, that are really good that might not get the solid ending, and that's just kind of something that unfortunately we kind of have to deal with in this medium, because you have a lot of stuff that, especially if it's not anime original, has to go off of what the manga is doing. And for example, like Dead Man Wonderland was a good example. So if the manga's still going and anime season's only going to last so long, they're going to have to do one of a couple things. They're either going to have to like cut it at a certain point, or come up with some kind of weird conclusion that might not be in the manga and have differences from the manga, and that's going to piss people off too. And I feel like people are going to be pissed off no matter what you really do. So sometimes I don't blame the studios as much as other people do, because I think they're just trying to make money. They're trying to put out a product, and they're trying to put out something that they think people will like. And sometimes that doesn't work out for everybody, but I don't think you're ever going to really make everybody happy. Another like a show, like a manga that I'm currently reading. We'll check out Noragami. So Noragami is, so far I believe 18 volumes have been released. I actually just ordered 18 the other day, and Noragami is this cool like shonen-y kind of manga, and it does have an anime as well, about this like god guy who does anything for 5 yen, and he's a really lowly god, and there's many, many gods in this world, and he's like, nobody really knows who he is, and he does all these like stupid boring things just so people can sort of pay attention to him. And the show gets a lot deeper than that. I just made it sound, that was an awful pitch for Noragami, but it is really good. Like I said, I've already read the first 17 volumes of it, and I've watched 2 seasons of anime of it. Now, within those first 2 seasons, they only cover, like, I want to say 8 or 9 volumes of the manga, so we're talking about half of what's actually already out. Now, how much longer is this manga going to go? I don't know. They don't seem to Adachi Toka, the author or authors, I believe it's 2 people. They don't seem to put out volumes very often. There's a huge gap in between. So I don't know how long it's really going to go. I also don't know if we're ever going to get another anime season. But if you were to ask me, Miasma, should I watch Noragami the anime? I would say yes. Yes, the anime is enjoyable. The anime is, in my opinion, almost as enjoyable as the manga is. And the story kind of almost always is that the manga is better. And in this case, I kind of think that the manga is a little bit better. But, I mean, it's Noragami the show. I only got into the manga because of the show. And I think that's true for a lot of people. Maybe they see a show and then they're like, oh, wow, this would be cool to see how the source material is. I know that's how it is for me because I like anime better. I was introduced to anime far before I was ever into manga. And for me, if I really, really like the anime, then I'm going to check out the source material, especially if it doesn't have a proper ending, because I kind of maybe would like to see an ending in the manga. But that doesn't take away from me enjoying the ride. And I did enjoy the Noragami anime, both seasons of it. So I would recommend that. Check it out. Noragami and Noragami Arigoto. Both are really good, and hopefully we'll get another season someday. If not, that's alright. I'll just continue reading the manga, or, I won't really worry about it, and I'll just watch something else. One series I also wanted to bring up was Jormungand, because this is a show that is a couple years old now. I already did a review of this. Please go check that out. It's a really cool show. It's a really cool, action-y kind of show. And it has an ending. It has 2 seasons, and it was adapted from a manga. And I believe that it covers at least if not most of what the manga has. The anime itself does have a complete ending, but as referenced in my video about Jormungand, I'm not super big on the ending. And it's not that it's a bad ending. I don't like the actions that some of the characters take part in. And it wasn't written how I guess I wanted it to be written. But hey, I'm not the manga or whatever. But did that stop it from being enjoyable? No. I love Jormungand. It's a great show. I have both seasons on Blu-ray, and I've considered many times starting the manga, but manga's expensive, and I got a lot of stuff I got to read, and just excuses on excuses on excuses. But Jormungand's really cool. I would recommend definitely watch the anime. I could say that. I can't say anything really about the manga, but I'm sure that's pretty good too. And so it's very possible that you could watch a show and not really like how the ending goes, but it's still a good ride. So I think that's another factor in the fact that the ending isn't as important as a lot of people will tell you. Naruto, for example. Me and Naruto have a weird relationship where I loved Naruto when I was younger, and I watched hundreds of episodes of the show. And I watched all of the first part, and then a couple hundred episodes of Shippuden, I think, or probably 300 and something. I don't know. I stopped somewhere in the war. I don't know, and I'm not gonna pick it up ever again just because I'd rather watch other stuff. And I'm fine with that. I am fine with how the journey was. I mean, I know how everything ends anyway because the internet's the internet. But I'm fine with how it was. It dragged on too long, but it was super good when I was young. It was probably one of my favorite shows to watch back then. And it went on forever, and I didn't want to stay on the ride anymore. But it's okay. I'm not gonna. Oh man, I'm not gonna. If someone younger was just getting into anime or something like that, I would definitely recommend them to try Naruto. At least part of it. At least maybe that first, maybe before Shippuden, because in my opinion it's kind of better than Shippuden. But I know that's maybe not the common opinion. But I think it's a pretty good entry level thing. It has its value, and just because maybe it goes on forever or something like that, or I mean, I don't know how many people are really disappointed with the ending of the series, but it just goes on forever and ever. So, but I'm not gonna not recommend it to people. I will warn them that it's really long, but yeah. But I think endings are important. I mean, it would be cool if every show had an ending as good as like Cowboy Bebop, which has one of the best anime endings of all time. I think it's one of the best series of all time. I've made a video about that as well. But not everything's going to be perfect, and it's not all going to work out like that. And that's also an anime original. And I want to make another video soon about why I love anime originals, because I think that they aren't as like there's like a looser chain on them, because they don't have to deal with a lot of like the BS that waiting for mangakas or stuff like that can happen, or getting judged like against its source material or something like that, or getting prejudged just because it's based off of a light novel. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think endings are. I think they're important. I don't think they're as important as a lot of people may tell you. The one last thing I wanted to talk about was this, and I have to show this off whenever I can. You guys know me. The March Comes in Like a Lion. This is the Japanese Volume 1, because we don't have this in English yet. We need to get on that. But it's going to have another season coming up, and I really, really, really enjoyed the first season. It's up there in one of my favorite series of all time already, because the series, it meant a lot to me, and it hit me right here, and it's always going to do that. If we never got another season, I would still feel the same way about March Comes In Like a Lion. Would I wish that it had a better ending, I guess? Yeah, because it's definitely not over at this point, but I'm not going to not recommend the show. So the whole idea that you should not read this or not watch this just because of an ending or a lack of an ending, I think is kind of ridiculous. And I don't think the ending is as hype as everyone will tell you. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of people out there will tell you that it's more important than it is. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think I'm dumb in this, or do you agree with me? And let me know down below. And check out in the future. I'm definitely going to make a Why I Like Anime Originals video. If you like what I'm doing here, please check out my other reviews and my other content. And I do have a blog as well that I'll link in the description below. And as always, guys, this is Miasma from Gyre Media, signing out.